So, dear students, now I am going to discuss with you all about the Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra river system of our country, and this topic is from chapter number 3, drainage system. So, in our previous discussion, we have discussed about the differences between the Himalayan and the peninsular rivers, okay, as well as I have also explained you about the evolution of the Himalayan rivers, okay. So, as discussed earlier, a single river used to flow through the entire Himalayan region, okay, from Assam to Punjab. The Indo-Brahma or the Shivalik river used to flow, but because of some changes in the structure of the Himalayas, this Indo-Brahma river or the Shivalik river, it got dismembered, okay, it got divided, and three major rivers came into existence, that is the Indus, Ganga and the Brahmaputra. So let us have some information about the Indus river, about the Ganga river and the Brahmaputra river. The Indus river, okay, it is one of the important river of our country, and it forms one of the largest drainage basin of the world. The Indus river is it has one of the largest basin of the world, covering an area of 11,65,000 square kilometer, and in India it is 3,21,289 square kilometer, and a total length of 2,888 kilometer. Okay. So the total length of the Indus river is 2,880 kilometer from the origin to the ocean. But in India, it flows for 1,114 kilometer. Okay. The Indus river is also known as the Sindhu river. What is the other name of Indus river? It is also known as the Sindhu river. Okay, see. The Indus, also known as the Sindhu, okay, is the westernmost of the Himalayan rivers in India. Okay, it is the westernmost river, okay, of the Himalayan areas. The Indus river, it originates from a glacier near Bukharchu in the Tibetan region at an altitude of 4,164 meters in the Kailash mountain range. So the Indus river, it originates near a glacier. Okay, it originates from a glacier near Bukharchu, and to be more precise, it originates in the Kailash mountain range. Okay, near Mansarovar Lake. And the river Indus, it is known by the name Singi Khambam or the lion's mouth in Tibet. So because it originates in Tibet, okay, in the Kailash mountain range near Lake Mansarovar, okay, it is known by the name Singi Khambam or the lion's mouth in Tibet. And when it enters our country India, it is known as the Indus Sea. After flowing in the northwest direction between the Ladakh and the Jaskar ranges, it passes through Ladakh and Baltistan, and it enters into Pakistan near Chilas in the Dardistan region. So after flowing, okay, in the northwest direction, after originating at Tibetan Plateau region, it moves towards the northwest direction and it enters India, okay, in between Ladakh and Jaskar range, and it passes through the Ladakh and the Baltistan region and finally enters Pakistan. Okay, enters Pakistan through the Chilas in the Dardistan region, and it flows for a very long distance in Pakistan and ultimately drain its water in the Arabian Sea. But in its course, the Indus river is joined by many number of Himalayan tributaries, such as the Sayok, the Gilgit, the Jaskar, the Hunja, the Nubra, the Sigar, the Gasting and the Dras. Okay, the Sayok, the Gilgit, the Jaskar, the Hunja, the Nubra, the Sigar, the Gasting and the Dras. Okay, these are the name of the many rivers. Actually, these are the name of the tributaries which river join the river Indus. Okay, and after flowing through the Himalayan areas, okay, after flowing through the mountains, the Indus river, it finally comes out of the hills. Okay, it finally comes out of the mountain areas near Attock, where it is joined by the Kabul river on its right bank. The Indus river flows southward and receives Panchnath a little above Mithankot. Mithankot is the name of a place in Punjab. Okay, Mithankot is the name of a place in Punjab, and just near Mithankot, the Panchnath, that is the five rivers of Punjab, the Satluj, the Bias, the Ravi, the Chenab and the Jhelum, it joins the river Indus. Okay. The Panchnath is the name given to the five rivers of Punjab, namely the Satluj, the Bias, the Ravi, the Chenab and the Jhelum. Okay, and after being joined by these five rivers, the Indus river, okay, it gets more water supply and it flows for a long distance, and finally it discharges its water in the Arabian Sea east of Karachi. The Indus flows in India only through in Jammu and Kashmir, and the Indus River, it flows in India only through Jammu and Kashmir region. Okay, not through any other state, but only through the Jammu and Kashmir region. Okay, so the Indus River is the most important Himalayan river only in the northwestern part of our country. Okay, basically it is important for Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana and all. See, the next important Himalayan river is the Ganga river. The Ganga river is another important Himalayan river because it forms the largest basin in our country, as well as it is the longest river of our country. Okay. The Ganga river, okay, it is culturally a significant river. Why? Because it is considered as the holy river, okay, for majority of the Indian. It rises in the Gangotri glaciers near Gaumukh in the Uttarkasi district of Uttarakhand, and here it is known as the Bhagirathi. Okay. So the river Ganga, it originates from the Gangotri glaciers. So you may be getting a short question that from where does the river Ganga originates? Okay. The river Ganga, it originates from the Gangotri glaciers. Okay, and where is this Gangotri glaciers? In Gaumukh. Gaumukh is the name of the place in the Uttarkasi district of Uttarakhand. So from the Gangotri glaciers, the river Ganga originates. Okay, but here, after originating from the Gangotri glacier, the river is known by the name Bhagirathi, not by the name Ganga. Okay, it is known by the name Bhagirathi, and it cuts through the central and the lesser Himalayas in the narrow gorges. Okay, and the river, it flows through the central and the lesser Himalayas. Okay, and the river Bhagirathi, it joins with the Alaknanda. Okay, the river Bhagirathi, it joins with the Alaknanda river at Devprayag. Devprayag is the name of the place where the Bhagirathi river joins with the Alaknanda river. Okay, and they form a single river which is known as the Ganga. So at Devprayag, the Bhagirathi meets the Alaknanda, and hereafter it is known as the Ganga river. Okay, so again you may be getting a short questions from here that which two rivers join together to form the river Ganga? The Bhagirathi and the Alaknanda. Where does the Bhagirathi and the Alaknanda they join together? At Devprayag. Okay, the Ganga enters the plains at Haridwar, and from here it flows first to the south, then to the southeast and east before splitting into two distributaries, namely the Bhagirathi and the Padma. So the Ganga river, after originating in Uttarakhand, okay, it flows through the mountain areas till Haridwar. Okay, it flows till in the mountain area till Haridwar, and at Haridwar the Ganga river, it enters the plain area. Okay. And from here, from Haridwar, the river, it moves in a southern direction and then towards the southeast direction. Okay, and in the eastern side, and finally the river Ganga, gets divided into two, that is the Bhagirathi and the Padma. Okay, so basically the river Ganga, okay, it flows through Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, and in West Bengal it flows till Farakka. Farakka is the name of the place in West Bengal where the river Ganga gets divided into two branches, that is the Bhagirathi and the Padma. Okay, the Padma branch, it enters Bangladesh, and the Bhagirathi branch, okay, it moves towards the southern part of West Bengal, okay, by the name Hooghly. The total length of the river Brahmaputra is 2525 kilometers. Okay, the river Brahmaputra, the river Ganga, it flows for a total length of 2525 kilometers. Okay, and if you see the breakup, like it flows for 110 kilometers in Uttarakhand, it flows for 1450 kilometers in Uttar Pradesh, it flows for 445 kilometers in Bihar, and 520 kilometers in West Bengal. Okay. The Ganga river basin, it covers a total area of 8.6 lakh square kilometers. Okay, that means the Ganga river, along with its tributaries, it supplies water to around 8.6 lakh square kilometer area of our country. So you can imagine that the drainage basin of the river Ganga is very large. Okay, it covers a very large part of the northern plains. The Ganga river system in India, having a number of perennial and the non-perennial rivers originating in the Himalayas in the north and the peninsula in the south respectively. Okay, so the Ganga river system, okay, it is mainly being joined by many number of perennial Himalayan rivers and non-perennial peninsular rivers. It is not that the Ganga river is only joined by the Himalayan rivers, but many of the peninsular rivers also, they are the tributaries of the river Ganga. Okay, they join the river Ganga at various locations. For example, the Swan. The Swan is a peninsular river. Okay, the Swan is its major right bank tributary, and the important left bank tributaries are the Ramganga, the Gomti, the Ghagra, the Gandak, the Kosi, and the Mahananda. Okay, so left bank tributary means the river which join the river Ganga from its left hand side, such as the Yamuna, the Swan, and all. And right bank tributary means the river which joins the river from its right hand side, such as the Ramganga, the Gomti, the Ghagra, the Gandak, the Kosi, and the Mahananda river, the river which flows through Siliguri. Okay, this river also joins the river Ganga. And finally, the river Ganga discharges its water in the Bay of Bengal near the Sagar Island, okay, in the coastal areas of West Bengal. Okay, and the part of the river Ganga which has entered Bangladesh, okay, which is known by Brahmaputra, sorry, it is known by the name Padma, okay, and after flowing for a few kilometers in Bangladesh, the Padma river, that is the branch of river Ganga, it joins with the Brahmaputra river, and finally they also drain within the Bay of Bengal. Okay, so this is what about the Ganga river system. Okay, and the Ganga river is the one of the largest river of our country. And the next important Himalayan river is the Brahmaputra river. The Brahmaputra river, it basically drains the northeastern part of our country. Okay, basically the state of Assam, Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, and the Brahmaputra, one of the largest rivers of the world, has its origin in the Chema Yungdung glaciers of the Kailash range near Mansarovar Lake. So the Brahmaputra river is one of the largest river in the world. Okay, and it also rises, okay, in the Kailash range near Mansarovar Lake. But the river Brahmaputra, it has its origin from the Chema Yungdung glaciers. Okay, so you may be getting a question that from which glaciers does the river Brahmaputra originates? From the Chema Yungdung glaciers. Okay, and from here it traverses eastward longitudinally for a distance of 1200 km in a dry and flat region of southern Tibet, and where it is known as the Sangpu, which means the purifier. Okay, so after originating from the Chema Yungdung glaciers in the Kailash range near Lake Mansarovar, the river flows in the eastern side through the Tibetan Plateau region, which is a dry area. Okay, and it is known by the name Sangpu in Tibet. The river Brahmaputra is known by the name Sangpu in Tibet, which means purifier. Okay, the Rongo Sangpu is the major right bank tributary of this river in Tibet, and it emerges as a turbulent and dynamic river after carving out a deep gorge in the central Himalayas in Namcha Barwa. Okay, so Namcha Barwa is the name of a peak in Arunachal Pradesh, from where the river Sangpu, okay, it enters Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, it enters Arunachal Pradesh and it becomes very turbulent. Okay, which starts flowing at a very faster speed with huge amount of water. Okay, because the northeastern part of our country, it receives huge rainfall. So because of heavy rainfall, the river Brahmaputra, it gets enough water. Okay, so when the river Sangpu, it enters Arunachal Pradesh, it is known as Dihang. Okay, and the Dihang river, when it enters Assam, it is known by the name Brahmaputra. See, the river emerges from the foothills under the name of the Siang or the Dihang. Okay, so it enters the Arunachal Pradesh by the name Dihang. It enters India west of Sadia town in Arunachal Pradesh. Okay, it enters India through Arunachal Pradesh. Flowing southwest, it receives its left bank tributaries, okay, which the Dibang and the Sikang. So it is joined by the Dibang or the Sikang river, okay, and the Lohit river as its left bank tributaries. And finally it enters Assam, where it is known by the name Brahmaputra. Okay. So the Brahmaputra receives numerous tributaries in its 750 km long journey through the Assam Valley. So the Brahmaputra river, it flows for around 750 km, okay, in the Assam Valley, and it is joined by many number of rivers, many tributaries. The Brahmaputra enters into Bangladesh near Dhubri and flows southward. Okay, and the Brahmaputra river, it flows till Dhubri. Okay, Dhubri is the name of a small town in Assam, and at Dhubri, the Brahmaputra river, it enters Bangladesh. Okay, so after entering Bangladesh, the Tista river, the river which originates from Sikkim, okay, the Tista river, it also joins the river Brahmaputra from its right bank tributary, as its right bank tributary, okay, and it is known as the Jamuna. Okay, the river Brahmaputra is known as Jamuna in Bangladesh, and it finally merges with Padma. Okay, so finally the river Brahmaputra, okay, The river Brahmaputra gets joined by the Tista river. It flows for a few kilometers and it joins with the Padma river. Okay, the Padma river, which was a branch of the Ganga river. So where they both join together, okay, and they fall in the Bay of Bengal. They drain the water in the Bay of Bengal and they form a very large delta over there. Okay. So these are the three important Himalayan rivers, that is the Indus, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra. Okay. So these three Himalayan rivers, okay, they are the, actually you can say, they are the rivers, okay, which supplies water to a very larger part of our country. Okay. So we just completed with the important Himalayan rivers, okay, the important rivers of the Himalayan drainage system.